What's up, everybody? It's your boy Pope, and I'm back as promised, and we are here to give you what you've been waiting on. That's the sum of the 45 Minutes of Fire, and then some from our 200th episode edition of Post Point of View, where we got this exclusive interview with my dear friend Victoria Crawford, formerly Alicia Fox of WWE. If you thought part one was something, well, you're truly going to love the conclusion. Here's part two.
Welcome to the Post Point of View with your host, Elijah Burke.
Okay, guys, your boy is back, and y'all know how I do it. I'm back, not for the attack, but just to let you guys know how much myself, Con Man, aka the Deacon to the God and Light, Polo Del Mar, who's not with us today, and of course, the newest, the baddest one behind the scene with the gangster lean, the primitive one, Producer Red, who has brought us to the video format, and you are experiencing that right here, right now. So be sure to head over to wherever you get this podcast at. If this is YouTube, be sure to click the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well as to leave a comment, because we like to read and see you guys be joyous about what we're giving you. And as my Deacon to the God and Light will say, it's that work. And then, guys, be sure to head over to love-alive.org. That's Pope's Charity. See what I'm doing in the community. See how we're giving back, how we're making a difference in the lives of others. $1 help makes a difference. Whether that's us going out to the school, your boy go out there to the school all the time, whether it's me going to the bag camp, whether it's us feeding a family, clothing a homeless stranger, whatever it may be. Love-alive.org. Go read our mission statement. Go find out how you can help be the change that you wish to see in the world by continually positively influencing many people. All right, guys. So we are back. And I am with my girl, Victoria. And man, before that, there was nothing I could say following you before I went to stationary identification, because you said a mouthful. And after you lost the title, you went on to do some different things, try a little something here, they tried you a little there. At one point you even and here's another first, you may not know this, you became the only Black female to become the WWE's 24/7 champion.
I did that. Wait, guys, I forgot one.
Did you know that one as well?
No, and I didn't know that at the moment, but like I said, the fans will give you little nuggets. But at that point, this was just not that long ago. I was like, I don't even know if I can even stomach, like, I can't tell if I can't tell if they're being sassy or not.
Yeah.
Like, I think the fans are very helpful. I don't think that they're trying to be they're trying to be creative with you,
Yeah.
but constructively. But like, again, like, it's so strange how behind my speech with them, I hope I didn't disappoint them, and it's
Got
like
you.
it's such a like manufactured misery, because it's just within my understanding, but I can see it just influences like my vibe, or something like that. And like, there's something in this between some of my friends, we call it like this automatic toy soldier that we were conditioned to just, like, you're at Publix and they're like, "Are you Alicia Fox?" And you're like, "Oh."
Yeah.
Ron's like, that I think it has a conscious awareness. I think it's conscious of itself. Like when you can like hear yourself, like, you know, someone's like, say an interaction like that passes, and then I'm like, oh man, I wish I didn't have to go into so Alicia Fox mode and or something, you know.
Yeah.
And the problem is, I mean, whose lie is it anyway? Like it's just like there's not any more of me needing, like, I don't know. I know it for me, it's always tricky to talk in the accolade department sometimes because the fans and the audience, like, it it's entertainment. It is entertainment. And the interesting part that I've experienced in these independent signings, like I have more time to talk to the fans, which is always a blessing. I can ask them what they're up to. And a lot of them are wrestlers. So when they're seeing these politics being played on their favorite wrestlers, I mean, y'all, now come on. Don't let those machines treat your wrestlers like that. And I said that when I could on my Twitch. I said, if you see a machine treating your wrestlers badly, you say something because we are independent contractors. They borrow our bodies. More importantly, y'all are wrestlers, either trying to go to the machine, or most of us are trying to still run so far from it. But it's like the thing is like they're not the only machine in town, and they haven't been. So what is the nostalgia about? You want to know why? Because human nature, by its nature, can experience nostalgia for the past. That means no wonder the fans, the wrestling fans, are like, oh my God, wrestling. It doesn't matter where they are. Or like say I'm a wrestling fan that gets a job, and then the other, you know, the one in charge now is like, here's a contract. You want to go do whatever. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yep.
It's a nostalgia response. And to me, as long as that particular company has been doing blackface and our bosses have been doing these characters, it makes sense to me now why they were treating me like this. Because for me, I didn't study the history of wrestling going forward. I lived that experience linear. I did what they told me to do. I drove those hours. I was on a tour bus with my fiance being driven around to the meet you in my same match with your title, our title. And I wasn't doing that. I also wasn't bringing camera crews in to exploit my friends on an already exploited agreement. There's a whole nother thing. But then in the history of that particular, they've got people on reality shows all day long. But guess what? Since social media and everybody's their independent brand, that was years ago. Okay. Years ago.
You preaching, girl. You got Pope needing some ice over here. Good Lord.
Oh yeah. Here. I got this big gulp from the beach. With all the ice. That's all I was like, I need that gas station ice, babe.
Oh gosh. Okay. So you talk about the machine capitalizing on things
I'm about to do for myself 5 times. It's fine. I'm already pre-approved.
So you talk about the machine and some of the stereotypical things that were being done. How do you feel? And you know, I just did an interview recently. I was on a podcast and someone asked me about what I thought about Crime Time and that gimmick and whatnot. And, you know, I had to take them back to the fact that, you know, it was actually JTG's creation. You know, it's something that they created down in OVW and it got pushed. And then JTG's partner went out, Shad came in, and Crime Time was born. And before that, they were called the Gangstars. And before that, they were called the Neighborhoodies. Y'all hear me out there giving y'all some knowledge? And then WWE brought them up and made it Crime Time. And of course, yeah, it was very stereotypical. That's why I took the path that I took with Pope and to be different, so that can stick with me forever because I own it. That's mine. You understand what I'm saying? But you talk about all of that. How do you feel, if you will? Now I'm getting a little popish here because how do you feel about how they did with the whole evolution of, you know, of the women's movement pay-per-view, because I'm looking today and I understand they do keep, they keep that part, at least a segment in there, maybe two, but we maybe two. We
Go
did
ahead.
this.
What am I narrating? Just 5 seconds.
We did this huge press release, this huge build up, this huge pay-per-view. I believe you were a part of that. You came back for that, and that was it. It was
Yeah.
as quick
Yeah.
as it started, it was over.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember now what happened to the idea of Evolution 2. From what I mean, this may be just what I picked up because there's not much feedback. Like after we did our
Rumors, just say rumors and innuendo.
okay, rumors and innuendos state that it just didn't hit the buttons. Like it didn't
The numbers.
yeah, the numbers didn't hit, and I mean, to be honest with you, I think what for myself in that particular part in my career, Alexa had an injury. Okay. I got in dumb luck again. This is one of the three dumb lucks, I've had. And the first one was what we just kind of were running, well, I was rambling on. But the dumb luck of like Alexa being injured put me in position to be in the match. And it was another fatal four situation where I were in there with girls that I respect, that I felt they know they love their craft, So I felt a part of that OVW bonding experience again. Cause like, I mean, regardless of how it is to put a match together and like doing all the things, it was something in, I guess you know what I'm saying? Like, I guess I were in a nostalgic moment because even not knowing many skills or much about the business, I knew Trish and I knew Lita. Mm-hmm. And now 17, 15, or I don't know how many at that point, years later, I'm in there with Trish's main rival, Mickey. She got a career out of working with this individual. Those two help elevate each other continuously. And then I'm in here and out of dumb luck because this chick's out. But regardless of my opinion going into that pay-per-view, to be honest with you, I thought I had more that I wanted to contribute, but I also thought I had more, like I could have had the title more times. I mean, I kind of remember going into Vince's office one day and like he was always really nice and welcoming when I would knock. But I'll tell you what, the thing I did not capitalize on is his invitation to say, knock on my door anytime. Gotcha. I would knock on his door when I felt.
Who's knocking on my goddamn door?
Yeah, but he was so nice. He was like, who is it? And I'm like,
who is it?
Can I? And he's like, can you give me a minute before door? And this particular day, I was going in to ask him about seniority in the locker room because I had an issue with the way some of the NXT talent who had already been comfortable and now at this point established from the backs before, but you know, and they were very, for me, like it was just I didn't have the credentials as far as gold to look the part in any conversation, like, and maybe it's a me self-manifested misery, but it was just really tricky because most of our locker rooms were like the glossy girls, like girls that, like when NXT came in and I again started slowly being the last of the Mohicans here, I naturally gravitated to more of the enhancement talent, even though it was very stated to us in a talent meeting that as NXT's coming up, y'all are utility talent. And the craziest thing about that is I remember walking out of that meeting with a lot of us from FCW, OVW, like us old school, our generation, and wondering if he was telling us the truth. There's no way that we're going to have to be these utility talent. I had never even heard it put like that. And I think I even went to the one, I'm not even going to mention his name. And I asked him, I go, so like, what do you mean? Because from the history we had from the first storyline, I thought in my mind that communication seemed decent. I mean, but no, it was not. I just remember him being like, doing business or something. It was just such a just flat whatever. But eventually, I saw a lot of spirits be broken. I saw a
Hmm.
lot of people fall into their own situations, like I mean, like whenever NXT came, like it just really changed a lot for a lot of individuals and not just me. And it was
Well,
hard to see my friends suffer like that. Like
yeah.
I
I
knew how
mean, really.
hard they work. Like it was just like what?
Yeah, well, we know that it's someone's baby, and he was creating his own stars as he still is today, and so favoritism runs, you know, across the board, and I think everybody, for a lack of better terms, whatever that may be, it could be in your family, it could be on your job. I think everybody, to a certain extent, wants to be able to say, I played a part in creating this, or I helped elevate this for, you
Like
know,
it
right. So I think that's a little bit, but to take the guys and gals that have been your bread and butter, who still have so much left in the tank, and just push them aside and say you're utility, that's just a little disrespectful, just plain and simple. Yes, I understand it's the business. I get that, but there's always a proper way to do business, and I'm not too sure that telling your talent in a locker room that is the best way to do business. But anyways, evolution is come and gone, and then it's like you're gone. Like we don't see you anymore. You know,
yeah, I remember.
it was a little sprinkled in before evolution. And after evolution, it's like, well, god dang, where's Vicky? And a lot of fans were asking, where you were, what was going on. And then we finally got an answer, because we got to see Alicia Fox one more time return at the Royal Rumble a couple of years ago, or last year, whenever it was. So what was it, 22? So last year you returned to the Royal Rumble to partake in the women's, I think, second annual Royal Rumble event. What was that like? How did that come together?
Okay, so I guess I was in two Rumble. So it's so funny how the things get kind of ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding, only because you're trying to get them in order. But no. So yeah, evolution, and then there was this weird break. I feel like there was a lot of time where I were at TV, just not on the show. Like there was so many years of that. And then I think evolution happened, the dumb luck thing with Alexa Bliss, and then I got to be in the match. And I remember doing this like .com interview after, or maybe it was before, and I felt kind of emotional because I was aware that my career isn't getting any better than this. There's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be another booking for me. Like even for a superstars, there aren't gonna be anything like Trish, Lita, Mickey. Like they're not putting my name to attract tickets. They're not gonna put my name on the poster. Like at this point, I think I came into a full acceptance
Mm-hmm.
with just not on my ability, but of machine.
Yeah, it's all about the machine. Yeah.
Yeah, machine. And the problem is I think in the longevity of my career, they met me as a child. So like my developing isms, whether it were like my people pleasing, my yeah, I'll show up, I'll do that. I'm just now aware of these conditions today in my recovery only because I'm constantly untangling them. So when I look back on this like part of my life, I'm happy to have a distance from it, but I can now see why certain parts of me just started shutting down. Like I don't know. I mean, I love to talk about this, but I also have no problem talking about a coherent pain,
Mm-hmm.
and what it was like to go to the talent relations and say, I think I got a drinking problem. I don't know. And
Wow.
the response from that was a whole nother thing. But like because is there really a department? You know what I'm saying? You're just like,
Okay, so pause. So again, you my girl. I'm so happy and proud to call you a friend. And I mean that. When I hit you up to be this big surprise for our 200, you're like, absolutely. Like, yeah. So obviously your transparency is just unapologetically amazing. Let me
oh,
just say that, okay? Because I'm not going to ask you that stuff. I'm not going to mention that stuff, but you're an open book. So since you mentioned the drinking problem, I feel because at this point I am a quote unquote, as the deacon to the God like con man will say, I'm a journalist. So I got to ask now. A lot of people are under the impression, it was reported, that because of said problem that you just mentioned, uh, this caused some people their job from, specifically Aron Anderson.
oh,
Are
okay.
you,
So
yeah,
I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about, and we can definitely talk about that. So, but it's like,
just whatever you want to talk about to give fans clarity on this from your perspective.
yeah, from my perspective, like I have today yet to talk with Arn to
We got to
like,
make that happen. Aron's is in Jacksonville just as much as we are.
I know. And the interesting thing that happened with that is there was like up until actually, so Arn, so there was a situation that happened. Arn later got released, but it wasn't in that same day or same whatever. Like actually I didn't even know. I didn't even know. I it was speculated I was the political scapegoat on that because there were events that were too close. Whatever politics he were dealing with, I had my own. I don't know.
Gotcha.
But what brought our stories together is that we were on the same live event
Gotcha.
where some speculation developed into a situation. And there was a situation that happened that
Was a totally different event.
air situation, But
Gotcha.
when in wrestling we think about, well, what's the situation? Like it could be anything, really. It could be
Uh,
anything. It could be anything. You didn't shake my hand.
it
So
could,
I'm
yep,
like how the
yep.
scope. Now, to the fans, I don't I don't think I caused the release of Arn because after my situation, I didn't know Arn got released until because I was at home. And this is before I could get into a treatment center because I again had no idea I had a problem. So like if like anyone in recovery kind of understands like how long it takes to get there, like when my lifestyle, I had played a crazy character after telling them I had a drinking problem, but I still don't know I'm a drunk, all right? But
Right.
anyway, play this crazy character and decorate my sense of being to be very colorful, erotic or not erotic, erratic.
Erratic. Yeah.
In what is the word when you're like no one knows what's gonna happen, like just like no one knows in
Unpredictable.
unpredictable. So when I would bring sensitive, delicate topics to the proper person, they kind of would play either between my young thought, like, oh, Tori, Victoria, like, and I would fall into that. I'm
Yeah.
looking at these individuals, this machine, unfortunately, like it baked me. Like I'm its cookie. Like, I mean, at this point, I've been here 15, 17 years. Like, I'm like not trying to be nurtured because everyone comes into wrestling weird, but they all were birthed from a mama that has another weird story. So this was a very easy transition
Nice.
for me. However, when trust in myself and who I was trying to bring myself to be in speaking or getting help, my anger and my sense of frustration for being stereotyped so long looked just like the character they would prefer to have on TV, just because she's a little bit more calm. And the funny thing that happened was this particular day, I don't know if you want me to talk about it
I
now.
don't. I just know that you my girl, and you can see I'm over here, and
Yes.
I'm sweating, and because I'm invested in you, and don't have me over here like, good Lord, girl, like, oh geez.
What?
Um,
We ain't even touched the surface yet, my friend. Ain't got no, ain't touched no surfaces. And I hate threatening receipts, but don't play with me, y'all.
um,
17 years? Are you kidding me? I'm surprised they didn't offer me another position.
I'm surprised. I'm
It was
surprised that
not.
yeah.
It was 3 minutes with someone that got to the office in September. And I go, okay, well, I've been trying to reach you for 2 weeks because my contract is coming to an expire. Y'all aren't firing me. I walked out very like in full faith from start date to finish.
Hmm.
Done to finish. And if they want to act like they released me because they called me at 5:08 on a Friday and my contract expired Saturday at midnight, y'all playing with me. Y'all go ahead and take that title. Y'all take it. Guess what? Because ain't nobody can make money on Alicia Fox's name no more. Or
Hmm.
I don't know if this purchase goes through. Y'all aren't even, or y'all, we all dissolved. Okay. So we also don't need to play with like what the proper, uh, just the proper rights you get by purchasing one trademark license agreement,
Yeah.
$326. So I don't know. I can volunteer and agree anything after that. After you paid that little fee, I got $326. I didn't know y'all thought I was the last one to be responsible with my,
Yeah.
but whatever.
I don't think they'll challenge it.
Yeah, no, it's
But
weird.
then, but who knows? But you know what? Your name, and I'm talking about Victoria Crawford. Your name has value as is. Okay. And I think that's very important for you to know as well, because your fans know that. Again, you're autographing at these conventions and shows, whatever you may do in the future. Your autograph carries weight, value to it. So don't ever allow what you have been through to weigh weigh you down. You have accomplished, I believe, and I'm supposed to be asking you this question to wrap it up. I believe that you've had an amazing 17-year run that so many of us, and I'm talking about with one company. Okay, I've been doing it for 20 years, brother. But you one company, 17 years. That was amazing. You answered the question because a lot of people thought you got let go. You just clarified, no, my contract expired. And that was that. It's a difference between telling someone you're fired versus, well, your contract is up. We're not going to renew it. Well, once the contract is up, it's done.
It's done. And in all honesty, Elijah, I can tell you about that 5 seconds. You know,
The flow's yours. I'm just,
okay,
it's
you
your
know,
flow.
thinking it, what's funny is like, during the pandemic, everyone got new contracts because of like whatever and move whatever going on.
Mhm.
And so I had signed a 3 year under like I maybe developmental. I made this like it was pretty like whatever, but I thought I was under a stipulation because they paid for my 30-day recovery situation.
Mhm.
Because like I don't know if you have to go to rehab, you automatically get fired. I mean, I don't really know because they don't tell you anything. So these are all speculations. But what I lived was after I got out of my 30-day, I got the call that everyone's getting new contracts because of the pandemic and everything. I got bumped to a developmental situation for 3 years, which for me, I was almost still so in such a state of being beaten by that, but just whatever, just I don't even know. I don't care. Just like not that I don't care, but it was like I don't right now have the time to fight with you guys. Y'all want to sign me a little contract, fine. But so I can't use my name for 3 years. Like I kind of still have an issue with that. Because at the time social media was going and like all of the individuals that had popular social media presences because they had titleship opportunities, because they were able to create in the space. This is just a total, and like I said, I had not, during that 3 years, I had never gotten a royalty check until I went on my Twitch and I showed my emotions when one of the fans asked me about what it was like to be on Team Bella. And I go, actually, it fucking sucked. And it made me get emotional because it's true and it's my truth. And why it makes me emotional today is because I can't pay my bills. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I'm not saying in a sense of.
Yeah. I follow what you're saying. I think
I'm
everybody knows what you
saying,
mean.
what I'm saying is I cannot build wealth. That is a problem if I've been in a company for 17 years.
Yeah.
I don't care about being rich. I don't care about being poor. And, I am so grateful for you, Elijah, and everything you do in Jacksonville because, there's like some dear family, my mother, who also has a disease of the addiction type. And she lived on the streets for 3 years in Jacksonville, Florida, in a homeless shelter. And the whole time, I think we were talking about this.
Yeah.
The whole time I was on the road trying to figure out how to balance my emotions with that, how to balance, like, to help my mom and be a utility talent. I don't know what WWE thinks they wanted to do to my life. They had no priority. Like, when I got home, I needed to survive because when I was on the road, I had to survive. I didn't have, and not to, again, to be in this state, but I'm going to tell you, when I'm asked about something, I'm going to tell the truth. It sucked to work with Team Bella. You want to know why? Because I'm Alicia Fox. And I was very clear that there was a lot of t-shirts in the audience, and I was sure I wasn't going to get a penny. So I went to the office and I asked him, I go, is this going to help my bills? Because, like, I think my royalty checks were so flat. Like, I had not seen any money. So ever, like, just a decent check, right? Like, so especially because we're paying for all our expenses. And he goes, those shirts, he goes, those girls make 50 cents. Those girls aren't making any money. And I believed it, I guess, but I went on, I continued my Total Bella stuff, whatever it was. And then when the pandemic hit and they gave me a developmental contract, whereas that's before taxes. So there's like the tax, then I have my attorney because look at me, I'm not walking around this contract by myself no more. You better believe that. For 8 9 years, I've had the same counsel, and she is a college degree. So excuse me. And more importantly, like the liquid wealth or the liquid, the ability to just breathe, like really, like y'all are borrowing my body to put over your superstars. I am not an employee. I paid to go to work. I paid for that career. So I don't know. They should put more titles behind it because I paid for those too, behind my name. You know what I'm saying? Like if they wanted to, the last thing I'll just say on that is like, so I went on Twitch when I could. And I had mentioned after I had said, I go, the thing is like, it makes me so mad looking at all that Team Bella stuff because I knew I had never going to see a penny. I knew it from the day that they just randomly put us together so we could be utility talents for all NXTs, Charlotte, Becky, and Paige, and then the team back. That's what the Team Bella. So I wasn't just a utility spare tire for them. I was also the damn push buggy for all. The three of us were for the rest of the generations to come to go ahead and get the title and quit at the end of the day. Monet. How much money? Give me money. So anyway, then what I'll say just last about the evolution thing, it's really interesting to me because I think I get more pissed today looking at the girls' podcast talking about their experience, strength, and hope and truth in the business. And it's crazy. It's so crazy because you know why? Like some of them, you'd be wow. Offline, send me a list. I'll give you all of them because like some of them have been flown to LA to get gear. Some of them have been like doing promiscuous things on sets, whatever going on. So it's like, oh, okay, well, I never knew all that, but now y'all on podcasts, post social media, like, so who was the other character in the lot? You know what I'm saying? It's just very bizarre because I wonder how much if they're getting their royalties today because that's all I want to know. Wow. But I tell you what, I went on my Twitch that day to kind of explain the phone call about me and my expiration date, because it took a long time to figure out the head of relations, but I've been there long enough. I knew who to text.
Right.
And I had reached out to this Dan guy, called him, emailed him, no response. And I kind of figured he was ghosting me. I reached out to another person who I know is close to the other one, and I didn't think that anything was going to come out with that because they're best friends and they seem to have the same mentality. So because of just being sober, I felt they got it. Whatever. I just, whatever. And so then I got my call. The Dan guy was like, oh, he gives me my accolades resume. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, and we're just not going to renew. I'm like, okay, so clean cut. He said, yeah. And I go, okay. And I go, so are you going to give me a receipt? He's like, receipt? I go, yeah, 17 years is a long time. Like, I want somebody to write me saying, y'all ain't got my name, my mama's womb name, my nothing name. I got all of it back and my story and my document, everything. You go, yeah.
Right.
And I go, okay, well, I'm going to be sending you a receipt. So as soon as I got confirmation, not from this individual, I sent it to someone I care about. As soon as I got confirmation that FedEx dropped it off, I'm like, see you later. I started my Twitch account and I'm like, hey, y'all, I
All
got to
right.
say, but I'm free.
And
I'm,
free indeed. Free
I'm free.
indeed.
I'm free.
Hey, and that's always a great thing. We're going to wrap this thing up, but before we do, we're going to do a rapid 4 questions with Alicia Fox, aka Victoria Crawford, aka Vix Crow, after this commercial break. I'm the Pope Elijah Burke, founder and president of the Love of Life charity. Thank you for watching this exciting match from the Duval Brawl 5, one of our biannual fundraising events to help fund and support our continued humanitarian efforts in and around the greater Jacksonville area. If you'd be so kind, please head over to love-alive.org to learn more about our charity and our mission. And also, feel free to donate to our 501c3 organization that operates off of the donation of the public, which is you. Whether via website or Cash App, $1 help makes the difference in the lives of others as we positively influence many people by continuing to be the change that we wish to see in the world. Now, let's get back to the ring. All right, so again, so much, and we only got so much time, and we appreciate my girl Victoria Crawford for being on here, sharing and being so transparent. And what more can you ask for? This is somebody that you talk to. You don't have to worry about someone saying, I'm going to be completely honest, because she's been nothing but open and honest. So you talked about these are the 4 questions I want to ask. I say rapid, but you know what I mean. Just I want to be quick with them for you. You talked about your problem. Your alcoholism. Okay. So I'm gonna bring that up, but before I do, let's go ahead and talk about it. What advice would you give anyone that's out there dealing with the same issue that you've dealt with?
I just would just say, keep the faith. It keeps getting better. It just keeps getting better. Every day that I'm healthier, there's one part of me, whether it's spiritually, mentally, emotionally, intellectually, that just sheds. And I feel that I'm supposed to feel lighter, not so tight, so I think as they go into this new experience with their physical first, maybe because I mean, for me, getting alcohol out of my body, like I completely will remember that. That was something I don't know if it's because of the athlete in us that we're very like conscious of like certain muscles and how they function and how you're fluid in them. But getting that substance out of my bloodstream was like well after I was sober. And then what came next was my back from breaking my tailbone, which I was picked up off my feet and chucked out of the ring. That's how I broke my tailbone and the 2x4 that was exposed. So I'm just saying those things anyway.
Did they cover that?
Yeah, they felt
Oh,
bad. I mean, but there's no surgery you need on your tailbone. You just kind of like get
yeah.
sit on your broke ass just and but regardless, but when it came to getting the alcohol out of my body, like because of our business, like I went through a season where my back and my spine could heal naturally because it didn't have any preservatives in it. It didn't have the cortisol and the the stress hormone from this perfection that I tried to whatever. So, I mean, it's weird because just as easy as I can reflect on like sitting at a bar and ordering a drink, um, the reason to not want to do that today is like so on a spiritual, non-tangible like reality that just for me to do that would be to die. Like it just really, it's just an experience that takes you out of this real spiritual. Like I don't know. I know we don't have much time, but I could sit and really share my experience on the I don't know if it's because I just know our performance in detail that my life unraveling or refolding again has just as much detail. Like,
Well, that's
um,
okay. We can always get you back on. So, again, guys, hold on. It gets better. The second question I want to ask you, Vicky, is when you look back over your career in its totality, uh, are you happy? Would you consider your career to be a success in its totality?
in its totality, yes, only because another dumb luck thing. When I meet some of the audience members and they are at this point anywhere from 27 at the oldest, and they say they've watched me since they were kids, like
It's
there's
crazy, right?
it's crazy and it's like little old me. I mean, after
Yeah.
all we've talked about, and it was in this last appearance that I saw a lot of the fans because like again, when this is the thing about an independent contractor. When the independent contractor is out on social media, out doing his thing, and say this person gets in trouble, and the machine doesn't have a storyline or a character to kind of like not neutralize it, but also keep the fans in a speculation or in a distance, especially in this unique industry where the fans are so interactive because they can be wrestlers themselves, or they've been wrestlers themselves, or they've been fired from WWE, or they couldn't make it to WWE.
Right.
That actually fuels a lot of the other industries around. That's kind of supporting the wrestling aesthetic, not just that company. And the thing is like um when your independent contractors are having natural disasters happening, alcoholism, all the seven sins, whatever the deal, like I don't know if that's part of the show too for them. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't
Right.
know. I just feel that they have so much more awareness of what they provide as an environment for their talent, only because there's this history of these stereotypical situations that
Situations,
yeah,
as Regal would say,
like I'm like
situations.
yeah situation. I know I was like my face is so expressive, so I'm like
Question number three. Um, and I'm going to go this route before we end it on a higher note. About 2, 3 weeks ago, last month, lost someone very you're very familiar with, and I didn't really see you take to social media. I might have missed it, but I didn't really see anything from you. Did you want to take a moment to share your thoughts, regards? Because I didn't, well, I'm not going to even lie. I was in Miami when they did his funeral, and that, of course, is Bray Wyatt. So and I didn't even know. but I didn't know him like you knew him. Any thoughts on what were your thoughts? Did you do you like were you aware what was going on, and were
Yeah,
you informed, or did it hit you? You know, where were you when you got the news, and how did it affect you?
you know what? Um, by the grace of God, I was on a wrestling recovery call when we found out the news, and you know, it's a small group, but it's available to anyone that is suffering that has been hired by WWE. You got full resources through them, so you contact them and you pay. They pay let them pay for your help. Okay, period.
Awesome.
So I was on the call with the boys there, and it's obviously very devastating. But you know, one thing that kind of like hit me with that news was that, you know, that could have been my speculative story.
Mm-hmm.
We just talked about times when I've gone, come back, gone, come back. There wasn't really much help from the machine. Like, I don't really know if they know how to help upset, addicted wrestlers. I don't know if they have the tools because they don't have the empathy, one. But I don't know if they actively care to develop the tools for
Gotcha.
a resource. I don't think they care. However, my pain when it comes to seeing our friend Bray pass is it was that season of speculation, and that
Mm-hmm.
triggered me more than anything because when I were making my TMZ media appearances, you
Mm-hmm.
know, not really, but
I
you
got
know,
what you said.
yeah,
I got
or you know, like with the Arn rumors, when the speculations of the rumors and the dirt sheets in social media, you know, um that could have been my I just resonated in that sense of what do we do here? You know what I'm saying? Like I Bray never really talked to me about emotional feelings in this
mm-hmm.
case of Gray. But when we were on the road together, we both were very aware of the same situations. And you want to know what else? I was close to I love Mike Rotunda. Him,
I love
Arn,
him too.
all my trainers. I was close with them.
Yeah.
Mike Rotunda was one of the, you know, and so, and,
Nicest agents backstage. He was mine.
you know, and the thing that I bring his name up is because I wonder how much of how much courage he developed from being in this business himself as to watching his children be in this experience that had nothing he put them on this earth, you know what I'm saying, and now
Right.
he has to watch them experience it that would be, you know, I think even on that sense emotionally it just again shows me that there's a lot of like individuals in this company that could use some help in a
Mm-hmm.
sense of like just to, hey, we recognize you, we love you, we see you, like I mean I don't know because I at this point if they were to say that I'd be like whatever, you know, but it's not about I don't even know what it would be from them. I don't, no one wants anything from them, but it's just really pretty devastating how long that particular has been around
Yeah.
and doing this to these wrestlers that they uh, I don't know how I feel about it. But when it comes to Bray, I'm grateful that that season of speculation passed and everyone got some information and we can rest him very easily, you know, and we can still in our heart relate to what the performer of that industry, if not that particular company, might be going through, and to use your social platforms and you speak your truth and you love the truth. You find love in the truth. Don't just look for it, now love it.
Amen. Amen to that. Wow. Wise words from Victoria Crawford. And last but not least, let's pick it up now and let's end it on a high note.
I hope my computer doesn't die. Hang on.
Well, here we are.
Okay.
We got about, I'm sure we can get 2 minutes out of you real quick. So tell me, the rumors are true. The innuendo is true. Did the lovely I am not off the market, I'm not on it, or whatever the case may be. Vicky, you got engaged recently. Am I correct?
It's correct. Yeah, I mean, we got engaged like last year, but I've been writing my vows, and it's just interesting because I'm changing daily. It is like it's one of those experiences that people that are looking for recovery or looking just for good friends and just whatever going on. I hope they experience. I hope they experience some landscape within. I hope you get enough like space cleaned out to like open the blinds and let some light in and just really enjoy finding yourself again. And don't be scared because it is a lonely road. It's supposed to be that way. And
It's good
and
to
then
have a helpmate, though, ain't it?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, so yeah, so in Mike, he's got a lot of love. And I'm gonna only say, for example, like whatever conditioning I have still unraveling here, I stumble into the wrestling self of me daily.
Mm.
A partner like to, be with us in this kind of profession or this, desire for some, you know, it takes a lot of that not being that champion starlight to realize that this person has a higher power, a God, and they apply it to their days and their lives. And, you can just like spend the time to like add more silent context around the people that show you these things. Like, you got to love the truth, and like that's painful because we perform in front of these people openly, whether or not they accept and reject us. But honestly, like the human condition, I think it's important to refine yourself to know the both. Be in the both. Be so then you can be in addition. You don't need to be constantly subtracting, whether it's like friends, isms, personality traits. Like you can just be in addition if you it's just it's fine to it was fine to yo-yo my career because as I experience those emotions in my day, if I stumble into my wrestling self in the kitchen, I get to welcome her back in because I'm sober and healthy today. And there's a whole internal experience that happens that I can only twitch about now, write about now, and
Mm-hmm.
until I get more confidence or just get out of this, this pain body. Um, I just know I just can just try to stay willing. I can't and just try it. I can try.
Okay. Okay, well, listen, hopefully, and I know all of the Pope point of viewers, the fans out there, the Foxy one, if you will, I know you guys are hoping to run into the wrestling side of Victoria Crawford once more, once again, somewhere in some lucky city, some lucky town, because that's exactly what they will be if they are able to bring in this legend, this wonderful and beautiful talented piece of art, my friend Victoria Crawford. I certainly appreciate her for coming on here. And it was at the right time that we ended that, as you saw, because she is now gone. But we thank her for joining us, giving her her truth, and just sharing every ounce of herself with us in such a way that no one can question that girl's authenticity because she was transparent from the beginning to the end. So, guys, y'all be sure to head over. If you want to keep up with her, you want to see what's going on, you can follow her over on Instagram at Vix_Crow, or you can follow her on Twitter. Twitter is Vix_Crow, and you can follow her on Instagram as at the Foxy one. That's two X's, FOXXONE. And man, I think that's a banger. This was a great two-part episode. I certainly hope that you guys enjoyed part one. just as much as you enjoyed part two. We lost her at the end at the right time. And guys, there's only one thing left to do. It's that time. Yes, it's that time where we must turn ship, set sail in the opposite direction. So for the Deacon to the God Light Alicon Man House, for the manager of champions, Polo Del Mar, for the primitive one, producer Ed, I am your host of hosts, your God Light, your paragon of virtue, your former NWA World's Television Champion, the Pope, Elijah Burke, saying take care of yourself, take care of each other, and always remember, if you can't change the people around you, change the people around you. That's a wrap.